Hello and welcome back to Make It Yappen.
Hello.
My name's Bethany and this is Shan.
Hello, we're back.
Yes, we are. Shan, what's your advice for the week?
My advice for the week is, if you want to do something mental with your hair, just get it done, mate.
Hell yeah, I love that.
And your advice, Bethany?
Oh, babe, it is always okay to punch a Nazi in any given scenario.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
Right, let's get back into it.
Let's go.
Right, so today I want to talk about appearances. I think a lot of us go through different phases when it comes to our appearance. I feel like you're not really growing as a human being if you don't. If you're still wearing what you're wearing, or still wearing what you wore as a toddler, maybe, I don't know, even look in a fashion magazine or something like that.
Yeah, it's time to reflect who you are on the inside, hon. Because I feel like a lot of women, well, no, wrong. A lot of parents dress their children in a way that's whatever's available in a store, right? Because your toddler doesn't have a personality yet.
That's fair.
But one thing I do find odd about the dressing a child is twins.
Twins?
Yeah, what is that about? They dress them exactly the same.
You see, if I was a parent, and God forbid I ever am, and I, for some reason, dressed my twins, if I had twins, the same, I would simply just get them confused.
Yeah. How are you supposed to tell those two little potatoes apart? Like, dress them different. Otherwise, how are you going to tell? Now I'm just looking for a mole or something to tell which one's Pete and which one's Paul. Like, who are they?
Yeah. Because at what age do you stop that?
I don't know.
Like, at what age do people get bullied for that?
I think at every age, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I do think... Do you remember when you started to dress for yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I tried to, and then I feel like my parents really weren't too happy about the way that I dressed because it was more kind of... I guess it wasn't very effeminate, and also it was more alternative. And my general sort of outfits when I was a teenager started to look like jeans, a band t-shirt,
yeah,
a flannel shirt, Doc Martens, and then I hit like maybe early 20s, and my mum was like, right, you've got to stop dressing like this now. It's a bit...
That's enough.
It's enough, yeah. You can't be like this forever. And it was really funny because I tried really, really hard to get out of that, and I was like, maybe I should start dressing like my own age and, you know, not wearing band t-shirts and flannel shirts. So I remember I chucked out so many band t-shirts, so many.
Yeah.
And I started shopping in M&S.
Oh, girl.
And Debenhams.
Oh.
It was really funny. I looked like a really frumpy secretary for a couple of years whilst I was at uni. And then I was like, this fucking sucks. This sucks so bad. I'm trying so hard to fit into like a box that might be more conforming, but I feel so uncomfortable and the material's itchy and I'm probably going to have like an absolute meltdown over the way that I feel because I just wasn't comfortable, and I've literally just gone back to wearing jeans and a band t-shirt and a pair of Docs and a flannel shirt and maybe a Harrington jacket, and that is like Beth uniform forever, if I'm being honest.
Hey, there's not wrong with that.
No.
There's not wrong with that. I went for a Harrington phase.
Yeah.
Not wrong with that, mate.
I love my Harrington jacket. It's got an inside pocket. I keep my sunglasses in there. It's useful.
It's practical.
Yeah, it is. I fit a can of Coke in there the other day and I was like, this is incredible.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first time that I wanted to dress for myself, I was like pretty young. Maybe
Really?
I don't know, maybe like 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to started dressing alternatively then because I had a cousin that was like an emo or something.
Everyone has an emo cousin, I feel like, at that age.
Yeah, big time. And I was desperate to start wearing the stuff that she wore. I liked my chem. And I was like, Mum, I want a tartan skirt. And she was like, okay. And I do vaguely remember having one that looked absolutely fucking horrendous, by the way. But then it never really looked how I wanted to look. I just didn't. You don't at that age, do you?
I mean, I remember once buying a tartan skirt and it looked like I was wearing a fucking kilt. So, yeah.
That was it. It was more, you know, I would walk 500 miles than Avril Lavigne. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. It wasn't cutting it, mate. It wasn't. And then I dressed a bit strange for a long while as a teenager.
I think that's a part of life, though, isn't it? Dressing strange as a teenager.
Yeah.
I feel like you've not really lived if you don't look back on photos and think, Jesus fucking Christ, what combo's that? What
was I thinking? You know?
You know what? You were making a fashion choice. You were making a daring fashion decision. And it should be respected.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. But nowadays, I think that teenagers don't have that awkward phase like we did.
No, I think, you know what? You need to have an awkward phase in order to be humbled. I feel as an adult. What's the point in having, like, getting to being an adult and being like, oh, wow, I really glowed up. Like, if you didn't have, like, an awkward phase or whatever, like, now they just look great from 13.
Yeah. You sit in the bar way too high.
Yeah. At 13, I had to get bangs put in because I'd plucked off the front bits of my eyebrows thinking that they were ugly. And you know what? Not enough 13-year-olds are doing that nowadays. And I feel like they should do so that they can look back and think, holy shit, I really didn't suit the front fringe. It wasn't worth plucking off the eyebrows.
Also, like, why are teenagers not wearing blue eyeshadow anymore?
Yeah, like, why have they got a skincare routine? Why are they not? Why are they using actual setting spray and not hairspray in their faces?
Exactly.
After putting on Dream Matte Mousse foundation.
Yeah. What's happened to all that?
I miss it.
I do.
I miss the foundation collars that you'd see in school. I remember once, actually, as well, it was so commonplace having a foundation collar in school that teachers would just get blindness to it. And I remember I once went to school and I'd put mascara on and a red lip balm, so like a bit of a tint, and I got told to wash it off. I was like, you're joking. I was sat next to somebody who very much had an artistic use of Dream Matte Mousse foundation.
Oh.
And backcombed her hair.
Oh.
So it was, you know, like 12-foot high.
Oh, yeah. I remember that stage, yeah.
And, I was sat next to them and they didn't get told to wash off the makeup, but I did.
Oh, my God. Dude. Yeah, basically the moral of the tale here is be worse at everything as a teenager.
You know what I'd like to see come back? Camel-coloured chinos for men.
Oh, lad.
It was kind of a really good indicator as to who was still a massive virgin. And
and Toms as well.
And those horrible boat shoes.
Yes, babe, yeah. The canvas boat shoes.
They just weren't doing anything, were they? They had no structural support. They were ugly. They did not grip onto a single thing on the ground. It was like wearing a pair of skates.
Yeah, it was. It was literally just gliders over the tarmac. It was ridiculous. And it was all the popular ones that wore them. Yeah. Which is wild to look back on.
I know. Like, that was the height of fashion back in the day.
Truly it was.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we sort of fished ourselves out of the trenches on that one.
Yeah. I might still be dressing like I was when I was 16, but I can hand on heart say that I never owned a pair of Toms.
Yeah.
I am thankful for my mother for that one. You know what I'd like to see more of, though? I'd like to see more appearance-based groups not getting on. I want to see more goths versus chavs.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see that anymore. There's crossover now.
There is. Everyone gets along. What's happening?
I know.
Why is everyone being so nice?
Well, I wouldn't say so nice.
No, there are still things going on. But yeah, no, that was a really big thing sort of back in the day wasn't it? Goths versus chavs.
Yeah.
And they'd literally have fights in streets and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is mad. Because now, obviously, when we go to metal gigs and stuff, looking like massive goths, there's some people that you would categorise as chavs that kind of come and watch the gig. And it's relatively nice.
It is. It is quite harmonious, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never thought I'd see the day where a chav crossed the alternative picket line.
I know. Mad. It is nice, though.
It is, yeah.
As much as we're joking, it is very nice. But yeah, I'm glad that I got to a stage where I actually started dressing alternative, like how I wanted to dress all those years.
I feel like I still I dabble in it. It's dead funny because to my goth friends, I am diet goth.
Yeah, you're goth light.
Goth zero, goth max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely that. Whereas like, to my other friends who aren't alternative, I am goth, which is just really funny because
you lie in no man's land, mate.
I know it is quite silly.
Yeah.
I dabble. I like the colour black.
Oh yeah.
But I think the only time that I've really thought, maybe I pushed it a bit far here is when we went. There was that photo on my Instagram where we'd gone to Haworth.
Oh yeah.
And all the girls are dressed in black, and I just thought, we look a bit too uniform here. It's like this has been done on purpose. Like we've lost a bet or something.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, we looked awesome though.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's definitely a level of freedom that comes when you get to a certain age where you've got enough financial freedom to be able to dress how you want. And also the level of confidence as well to do so. And you don't really have like your parents saying, you can't wear that and you can't wear this. The other thing that you might be in danger of though is when it comes to getting a job.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
I think workplaces have definitely become more lenient as I've got older, in terms of tattoos.
Yes.
And piercings, actually.
Mm.
I definitely try and push the boundaries when it comes to dressing how I want at work, because I simply hate the idea of wearing a suit. I used to think when I was younger that like that would be the best thing ever, and you know what, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be sat in comfies, and I don't know whether it's lockdown that's done it to me or what.
I think it's a big thing that lockdown's done to kind of everyone, is that work clothes aren't what they used to be. People just don't vibe with it anymore.
No.
I mean, they spent ages in that. What was it, like a couple of years or something?
Yeah.
Working from home.
Yeah. Like, it's still kind of blows my mum's mind that I go to work in trainers. But it's like, I'm not customer facing, and my ability to do my job isn't dictated to by my shoes.
Absolutely not.
Like,
why shouldn't you be comfortable at work? At the end of the day, if, you know, your employer wants you to do your job well and correctly. So I think a part of that has to be that your employees are comfortable.
Yeah.
So that you can concentrate on what it is that you're doing. Because if you're sat there in a pair of shoes that you never wear with a huge blister on the back of your foot, how are you concentrating on your job?
I've been there, done that. Even with a pair of Doc Martens. Like,
yeah.
That's a pair of shoes I wanted to wear and it's killed me, and like that's all I've been able to pay attention to like all day is the blister on my foot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, fair enough if you are customer facing, but again, like, it depends on your customers. I personally think, like, as someone who's come from a sales background, if you're selling to, I don't know, somebody who works in engineering or somebody who works in a car garage, and you rock up in a 3-piece suit, you're just gonna look like a wanker. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
That is not relatable in any way.
No, like, know your audience, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think they'd have more respect for you if you turned up in a boiler suit with oil on it or something like that.
Well, yeah, you look the part, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's one of us.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think that, especially being in sales, I think there's something to be said for, I've always thought, if someone serves me that, for example, looks alternative, because those tend to be the people that get the most slack, like customer facing, it's not professional and that kind of thing. But if you have somebody serving you that's alternative, and they serve you with like a really friendly manner and they give you all the information that you could possibly need and they do their job perfectly, why is it a problem the way that they look? Because they've not been unprofessional, they've not slacked in any way, they've not given you, you know, a bum steer on whatever it is that you're looking for. Why is it not more interesting for you to meet and interact with somebody that you wouldn't ordinarily interact with? Surely that's just an enriching experience.
You know what it is? I think people need to replace the fear of the unknown with curiosity. I think people look at other people who maybe don't look like them or sound like them or whatever and are scared of it, rather than thinking, oh, there's something I can learn here, or there's some sort of experience I can gain from this person, or insight, or something like that. Especially like with the alt community, I think it's so easy to judge because you look at them, some of them, and they look absolutely terrifying. They do, and honestly, some of the alt community are some of like the biggest softies I've ever met. A lot of the lads that we're friends with are tall and they have piercings and tattoos, or they've got funky hairstyles or whatever. A lot of them, some of them now, bless, the hair is going on something. God love. Some of them had or have long hair. It can be intimidating, but they are like the biggest bunch of softies ever.
Oh, major, yeah.
You know, I get that for some people, they can look menacing. Whenever I think about appearances and stuff, like when it comes to the alt community, I always think of like Sophie Lancaster.
Yeah.
And the fact that obviously that is still a problem.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like that charity obviously exists for a reason.
Yeah. It does.
That foundation. So yeah, I feel like
I can't understand why. I find it difficult to understand anyway why somebody wouldn't meet someone that looks a complete opposite of them. So it could be total polar opposite of you as a normal person, in quotes, and meet that person with interest and be like, oh, that's interesting. They're well different. Even like a little nervous giggle with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand being a little bit uncomfortable by something that you're not used to. What I simply cannot and will not understand is meeting somebody that you've never met before, judging them solely on what they look like, and being terrified of them when they've done nothing to actually terrify you, and you've now projected your own insecurities and the nastier side of yourself onto them, and now you're going to take it out on them.
Yeah.
I will never get it. And the thing with Sophie Lancaster as well is that is a massive topic for anyone in the alt community. I mean, they're at Download and stuff like that. Everyone knows what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is about. And yeah, it is there for a reason, because there are still plenty of people around that take out their fear of the unknown on alternative people, and all alternative people are doing is just self-expression.
Yeah.
It's just a funkier way to live.
Yeah,
it's like they just enjoy something that you don't enjoy.
Exactly. And it would be boring if we were all the same.
Yeah.
I mean on that topic, I mean, it's even like looking at people who were from the gay community and thinking that they look a certain way or behave a certain way, and that deserves hate.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. It's ludicrous to me. It's not a mindset that I can ever get into, because I try so hard to, whenever I meet somebody or I see like a group of people, to not have a preconceived notion. The only preconceived notions I ever have about when it comes to appearances is that if there is a group of men that look intimidating and I am on my own as a female, and that maybe they're behaving in a way that is intimidating towards women, that is the only time I've got my hackles up. But that is literally just a self-preservation thing, rather than I hate them because they look this way.
I think with that, though, that's not necessarily what they're dressed in and what their outward appearance is. I think that's more a problem with how men treat women. And when you're on your own, and there's a group of men, you are just naturally a bit more nervous.
Yeah, it's not all men, but it's all men in that scenario.
Yeah, because you don't know them.
Yeah.
So they could be anyone and do anything. And I think that is fair enough. If that's what it's about, then okay. unless they, you know, because like with some of our friends, I know that when they've been in groups, they recognise it might be intimidating to a lass walking across the street. They will cross the opposite side of the street so that she doesn't feel intimidated.
Yeah.
I've seen them do it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is sad, but so considerate.
Yeah.
And like a lovely thing to do to try to make someone feel a bit more comfortable. But I think if it's a one-on-one experience and your attitude is coming from the fact that somebody's wearing ear stretchers or is dressed in black or has the hair dyed of a weird colour and has piercings, then you need to get a grip, mate.
Yeah.
You need to get a grip.
I think, especially because, like, what's it called? Kind of like the stereotypical alt appearances, like, elements of that are being taken and becoming more mainstream. Like, tattoos. Like, when we were younger, I feel like a lot of alt people had tattoos, but they weren't maybe necessarily mainstream. Like, you'd have people that would go to Magaluf or whatever and get like a shit holiday tattoo, but that was fine. But not like actual pieces of art tattooed.
Yeah, like big pieces.
Yeah. Whereas now I see like a lot of people who are, you know, fairly conventional, but they are covered in tattoos. But I wouldn't call them alt at all. Like they dress in a fairly conventional way. They just like tattoos, and same with piercings. Like a nose piercing now is so commonplace. Ear piercings, more than one ear piercing, like. It's fairly commonplace to have those, and I feel like as time goes on, there will be other markers like that that, you know, were once restricted to the alt community that will become more and more mainstream.
For sure. I think that's why...
Hair dye, another one.
Yeah, big time. I think that's why communities of people are a little bit more accepting towards each other now, because there are common things like tattoos and things like that. So you might have someone that you might have called a chav years ago. They will also have lots of tattoos and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So they find common ground with old people. Okay, yes, there's still plenty of things that differentiate them. But I think that's why it's more understood and people just get on a little bit more now.
Yeah.
You don't have street fights of people anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you still won't catch a goth unironically listening to MC Devo, but
yeah,
but you might catch a goth wearing trackies, you know, or that was really, really stereotypical, but it's the same thing. Or you might catch someone who's a chav to be, I don't know, maybe they're into more like heavier stuff, like
into Limp Bizkit and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of crossovers, I think.
Yeah.
And I wonder, it just made me wonder though, like talking about the alt community and like how we are.
Yeah.
What the fuck we're gonna look like when we're older.
Is it a phase?
Is it a phase, mum?
Well, as somebody who was once in that phase, tried to get out of said phase, and is now back in said phase, I've got a horrible, horrible feeling that this is just going to be the way that I dress forever. I'm going to be like knocking on 70 in jeans and a band t-shirt and a flannel shirt and a pair of Doc Martens.
I hope so, mate. Icon.
Like, just exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know? So, I know, because you'd mentioned before we started recording, obviously, about how your mum and Nan, like, wear obviously completely different things, but your mum is now getting to your Nan's age.
Yeah. So how my Nan dressed at my mum's current age. So my mum's in her late 50s.
Yeah.
And I was looking back not that long ago at pictures of my Nan, and she was around my mum's age, and I clocked what she was wearing and the way she sort of wore her hair. She wore her hair exactly the same, I mean, forever, as far as I'm aware. And it was the perm. You know, the Nan perm.
The Nan perm. Did she have the, what's it called? Like the pink wash with it or the blue wash?
No, she kept it brown, God love her.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. 100%. And she had the Nan perm, and she would wear things like, you know, like the skirt that just goes to your shins.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that, and like the pleated skirts. And
very demure.
Very demure. And the blouse.
Yes.
You know, the classic Nan look. Also Aran cardigans as well.
Yeah.
You know. And I was looking at my mum and thinking, I know for a fact that you won't be fucking seen dead wearing any of that at the same age. And I feel like that has completely changed. So the next gen of Nans is going to be wildly different.
Yeah.
I think now they dress much younger.
They look a lot younger though, like in photos and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Massively.
I mean, granted, when I look at photos of my nan, I feel like she's just not changed much. But again, like, neither is her style. But that is the earmark of, you know, what she grew up wearing.
Yeah.
So when we get to our nan's age and, you know...
Goth Nans.
Yeah, is that going to be a thing?
There's going to be a lot of tattooed Nans, isn't there?
Yeah, a lot of tattooed Nans, which I really do fuck with. I think that's cool.
I think that's sick, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to look mint.
But yeah, I do wonder, like, oh, you know, they'll look at me, for example, and be like, oh, band t-shirt, flannel shirt, jeans, Doc Martens. God, she looks so old.
Can you imagine?
That's rude, isn't it, really?
Well rude, mate. Well rude. It is weird, though. I feel like the same trajectory is happening to men.
Oh, yeah?
Like how granddads dress.
Yeah.
I can't imagine George wearing a granddad's fit, you know.
You know what? I kind of can.
Can ya?
A little bit. I mean, some of our mates already dress like granddads. I'm not naming names, Boone. But, he's got that granddad fit down.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think with some of the lads, yeah, it's harder to visualise it. Especially with people like, I always think about, whenever I think about this, I think about like Jamie, for example. Jamie wears like skinny jeans and a chain on his trousers.
Yeah. Is he going to be like hoisting them up at age 78?
I wanna think so, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I think that's cool.
That is cool though, to be fair.
Yeah. Whereas I can see some of the other guys going for a more sort of, you know, a relaxed granddad jumper fit, maybe jeans.
Loafers,
pair of Crocs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, don't. The Crocs are already seeping in, mate.
I'm debating getting some. I've been, like, really fighting it. Really fighting it, because I'm just like, I just know, as soon as I get a pair of Crocs, that's it. I'll be in the club with Crocs. You will see me...
Crocking about.
Yeah, you'll see me... Fuck off. You'll see me down the meeting place, cutting shapes to Eternal Autumn set. Meanwhile, they're like 60, 70 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Like, bag of dust. Just playing instruments.
Yeah.
Steve with his guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And there'll be me at the front in a pair of Crocs and ear defenders, probably.
Oh, my God, do you think?
Well, I've already got the loops, so yeah.
Yeah.
I do worry about that. I feel like once Crocs become part of my... I guess current fit, that will be the end of me. And I will... What if I wear them to work by accident? Because they're just so comfy.
Oh,
unfortunately,
God.
like, ugly clothing is in fact the comfiest.
It is, babe, yeah.
And I do actually really enjoy the fact that ugly clothing has become, like, acceptable to wear. Outside, in the workplace, yeah. I'm comfy. I've seen people wear hoodies.
Yeah.
Just as, like, an actual fit.
Yeah.
To go outside. To go somewhere social. They're wearing a fucking hoodie. Like, it's not a poncho or anything like that, but, no, like, an actual fucking hoodie.
It's a wearable blanket, baby. And I get it.
Yeah.
I do understand.
Yeah, I do get it. And the only thing that I really do want to happen, actually, is for ugly clothing to become more acceptable.
Yeah. Because
I want to be comfy, actually.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think there'll always be people that don't embrace the comfiness. And I think, I might be wrong here, but I do think that those people see what they wear as more of a statement rather than a function.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I know older guys, for example, that will wear a three-piece suit every single day.
Fuck that.
I couldn't be arsed.
You know what it is as well for me, that? It's the ironing. as someone who thinks ironing's is a myth, and it is, I don't believe in it.
I don't. I don't own an iron. There, I said it.
Hell, this isn't confession. Jesus.
You are my priest, mate. Right.
You don't own an iron.
I don't own an iron.
I once tried to iron, I think it was 2 shirts and 3 pairs of pants, and it took me an hour and a half.
I'd simply cry my eyes out.
Yeah, I think if you just hang clothes in a certain way, you don't really need it. Crease release sprays exist for a reason. I mean, actually, my nan turned around to me and said once that she doesn't think that modern day clothes need ironing because they're designed in a way that they don't really need ironing. Yes, iron your shirts, by the way. Like, shirts, I get it.
Yeah, like the white shirts with the collar. They absolutely need ironing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I don't own any because I can't button it up across my chest. It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
Otherwise it looks like I'm wearing a tent.
If I wore one of those, it literally looks like I'm wearing a sack.
Yeah.
So there's no point. What's the point?
Yeah. I'd rather just wear like a nice fitted jumper. Yeah.
Jord has them, but we'll just politely ask either his mum or my mum to iron it because I will not iron, mate. I'm not doing it.
No, it's too much effort, if I'm being honest.
It's a waste of my life.
Yeah. I know. My mum, actually, when we were younger, my mum used to iron pyjamas and bed sheets.
Lad, my mum does that. She irons my dad's undies. I don't know if I should be sharing this on this podcast. What are you doing that for?
It's a waste of time.
Who's ironing socks? Stop it.
Who needs that?
Who needs that?
What a waste of time.
Oh.
I can name 100 other things that I'd rather be doing than ironing. Anything, like literally. I think that's why I'm really grateful in some ways that we have made a move towards more comfy clothing in the workplace, because if I had to wear shirts and they had to be ironed, because obviously they have to be ironed, otherwise they look like shit.
Yeah.
I would simply want to die a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Wearing the thing, hate it. I look stupid.
It's uncomfortable. I can't sit right in it. No. Leave me be.
Yeah.
We said this in the last episode. Just leave us alone, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Fuck ironing. I don't
Fuck
support
ironing all
it.
day long. Fuck ironing all day long. If you've got the nads to do it every day of the week or whatever, however often you do it, fair play to you. But it's not a life I choose for myself, mate.
No. The washing and hanging up clothes
is enough.
Is enough. It's a big enough hill to climb up.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got enough to do. But no, I do think that clothing is a statement for a lot of people. There's a sort of a demographic of older guys that it's a real statement for, and I do understand that. It's a point of pride. I do get that. And I suppose in a weird way, if you dress alt or you're sort of part of a subculture, any subculture really, where you sort of dress in certain ways, that in itself is a statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an expression of who you are, but it's also part of a group of people that think the same way, and it's outwardly symbolising that you're part of that group of people.
Yeah.
And so I understand that as well. But yeah, no, function and comfort is it's so important.
Yeah. I unfortunately have got to a point in life where I would much rather look like a sack and be a really comfy sack.
Yeah.
Than wear like clothes that are, form fitting. I have sacked off bras with a wire in. I really have, and it was the best thing I ever did. I do not wear bras with a wire in anymore, because you know what would happen as somebody. So for context for the pod, not that it's not a sexual thing either. I don't think me saying this, but my bra size is a 40H. So that is like some serious.
It just digs in, and it feels like halfway through the day, it feels like it's actually cutting in to your skin.
Well, mine actually did, and I thought, this is actually not good anymore. So on the, I need like massive side support, obviously, because of the amount of weight that I'm carrying at the front. And by the last bra that I wore, bearing in mind, I'd go and get measured, so I'd go to places like Bravissimo.
Yeah.
Who were, by the way, absolutely fantastic. Really, really great. Loved them. And they would find me like a good fitting bra, or even Debenhams. Like Debenhams used to do it, and I think M&S have done it as well, and I've been there. But obviously for my size is like outside of like the normal range anyway. People say I'm blessed. It feels more like a curse. But yeah, the last bra that I had actually drew blood out of me from wearing it. Yeah, so and it was mostly on the sides, and I was permanently bruised to the point that my skin discoloured for a while, and I just thought, no more. No more. I can't do this anymore. Who's this for?
Yeah. What is it for?
Yeah.
No.
At that point, what I really should do is either lose weight or, find a comfier alternative, which is what I've done now, because it's not losing weight, it's finding a comfier bra, finding a bralette, or I wear Calvin Klein kind of bralette things. They're great, fantastic. They're pretty supportive, actually. You wouldn't think that they are, but they are. Or literally just wearing bras without wires in. Yeah. I cannot be fucked with a wired bra ever again. I think even if somehow I woke up the next day, say I woke up tomorrow and I'd lost half my body weight and my bra size had gone back down to probably a double D or something like that, I would still never touch a wired bra again for as long as I live. Fuck that.
They are the devil.
They're horrible. Yeah. They are shackles for women.
Yeah, not genuine. Yeah. And I know, on that topic, actually, I know that a lot of people enjoy wearing lingerie. I fucking don't.
No.
I fucking don't. I like my non-wired, ugly ass sports bra.
Yeah.
And my big, huge, I will say, brief knickers.
Bridget Jones's.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you fucking having me out? If you're not doing that, you're tapped.
Well, either that or maybe you're at a body type where you can get away with that. You know what would happen though?
It's because I'm fat, that's why.
Right. Even if you're not fat, I still feel I remember even when I was thinner, I do remember a time, there was a time where I do remember that, I didn't have as many rolls. But even then, I've actually, historically, only pretty much worn Bridget Jones's. They are so comfortable. I have tried wearing thongs. It literally felt like...
I'm being cut in two.
It felt like my arsehole was eating a shoestring, if I'm being honest. It's just not great.
No.
There's no support.
No.
It's UTI central, if I'm being honest.
It is, babe, yeah.
It doesn't feel hygienic to me.
I don't want anything directly touching my arsehole. Okay? No. Unless it's paper, I don't want anything touching my arsehole.
That's fair.
And why am I putting a string over my arsehole? My arsehole can't play guitar.
Piss off.
What's the fucking point? I do know that I do know people that like a thong.
Oh, yeah, I know people who like a thong.
I don't get it.
No. The most I'll do...
You do, but...
Yeah, the most I'll do is a nice Brazilian brief, and it's because it kind of sits in a way that it doesn't go up your ass like a thong does, but it kind of sits nicely and it makes your bum look curvaceous. It accentuates the best assets of it. Fine.
Yeah.
But still I still want coverage at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need that support. It's just nicer. It feels cleaner.
Yeah.
As well. Thongs and me just do not get along. I tried it, did not feel sexy, felt like...
I felt like a stringed ham. Is what I felt like.
A trestled ham.
I felt like a trestled ham. All I needed was a bit of fucking parsley. It was fucking harrowing.
That's really, really funny.
And it doesn't matter how much someone says to you, oh, you look banging, you look really good in that, you look fit. No, I look like I'm ready for the oven. Fucking leave me out. Leave it out.
I look like I'm ready for the oven and my arsehole's itchy because of the shoestring halfway up it. I don't feel good. I don't feel sexy.
My crack is sore from being sawn in two. And being flossed apart.
Literally.
Horrendous.
And on that note...
Yeah. Yeah. I think the overall lesson here is just wear what you want in any capacity, as long as it's appropriate.
Yeah. We say wear what you want, but be considerate of weddings, funerals.
Oh, yeah.
bar mitzvahs,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
That sort of thing. Don't worry about your job.
In all fairness, like, actually, if a job turned around to me and went, you can't wear that, I would seriously consider
Not taking it.
Not taking it, yeah. Yeah, if a job turned around to me and went, you'll have to take your piercings out, I'd be like, I've barely got any for a start.
Then you'll have to find another candidate.
Yeah, you'll have to find another candidate, sorry.
Yeah, I think just wear what it is that you feel most comfortable and empowered in, something that you feel represents you but is also functional. And whatever people's opinions are going to be of it, they're always going to have opinions.
Yeah.
Don't give it any fucking mind. And I know that that's easy to say because it's hard not to take in other people's opinions sometimes. But really, don't. Life's too short. Wear what it is that you want. Be who it is that you want to be. And just because someone dresses different to you doesn't make them better than you or less than you either.
Exactly. The best thing you will look like great in is the thing that you want to wear.
Yeah.
Because you will wear it. It won't be wearing you.
Exactly, and you'll glow when you're in it because you're happy to be in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's all we've got time for today, so you'll have to join us on the next episode.
Absolutely.
I've been Bethany, and this has been Shan, and this is Make It Yappen.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.